वेलकम गाइस। आज काफ़ी लेट हो गया एंड दिस इज द फर्स्ट एपिसोड ऑफ वेंसडे विजडम. This is quite interesting because I love kind of love doing this coding part, and the stream is more about it. We'll be taking the whole thing in a new way. We won't be doing like uh, solving existing problems, implementing binary trees and all. Instead of that, we'll try to look into different system and how they work and probably try to implement their algorithm behind it. और आज का टॉपिक है एलिवेटर्स. लेट्स ट्राई टू बिल्ड वन. सो शुरू करते हैं हम लोग. Hey guys, this is Shubham Gautam. Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Welcome, guys. So, as you can see, I already have my Code Sandbox open. So, Code Sandbox is one of online code editor. If you have not used it, probably you should try it. It's pretty interesting. You won't be going through the pain of setting up everything. You can get the pre-set up boxes of React, Vue, Angular. मतलब आपको जो पसंद है आप वो यूज़ कर सकते हैं. You can get React with TypeScript, you can get Vue with TypeScript. It's pretty interesting, and it's free, so you can try it out. And you can also share the URL, the output URL with your friends if you want to show what you build. And आज हम बनाने वाले हैं elevators. 2 minutes. मुझे एक चीज़ चेक करते हैं कि सब काम कर रहा है. One audio check and then we'll start. Awesome. Okay. If anybody wants to start streaming, I'll suggest to have a better version of MacBook Pro, probably not the 2019 version with 16 gig. Probably I need to upgrade my RAM. It's performing very badly. I probably spent almost 1 hour fixing the lagging issue. Hopefully, बाकी स्ट्रीम में ढंग से काम करेगा, कोई इशू नहीं आएगा. कूल. तो शुरू करते हैं हमारा कोड सेंडबॉक्स. सबसे पहले क्या करेंगे, विल रिमूव दिस होल थिंग. हमें हेलो कोड सेंडबॉक्स नहीं चाहिए, हमें ऐप चाहिए. विल गो टू style.css. थोड़ा सा रीसेट करेंगे. वी नीड अ बॉडी का कलर, सेट अ बैकग्राउंड कलर ऑफ ब्लैक. एंड cool. No, let's ठीक है, it's all good. Okay, so हम अगर एलिवेटर्स बनाए तो बेसिकली एलिवेटर्स में क्या होता है, देयर इज मल्टीपल फ्लोर्स जिनको, एंड देयर इज ऑप्शंस टू गो अप एंड डाउन फ्रॉम आउटसाइड एंड टू स्टॉप बेसिकली, एंड इनसाइड यू हैव द ऑप्शन टू ओपन, क्लोज एंड गो प्रेस द ऑप्शन ऑफ डिफरेंट फ्लोर्स. ठीक है, सबसे पहले हम क्या करेंगे कि विल बिल्ड एन एलिवेटर, a UI of an elevator, a basic UI of an elevator. Because we are already 1 hour late, we'll try to keep it simple, short as possible. Okay, so we need first let's build a components folder. Components, and the components we need one building and building we have building component. Now building में क्या होते हैं floors, so we need a floor. We need an elevator which will basically move up and down, and we need a to what do you call it? Probably we'll call it dial. Fine. So this app is our main container. Let's create another container inside it जहाँ पे हमारा पूरा code बैठेगा. Let's call this a div, and this is like boring part because we will just building out UI components. Interesting part will come like once we are done with all this shit, and then we'll be writing the actual logic to handle that, right? So level class name, and we'll call it elevator container. Okay, so to keep it little simple, what I'm trying to do here is the elevator, the building component will be a front UI. Like suppose you're watching a building from a front view, and so you're standing like 500 meters away from that building, you're watching it. Assume you can see it's a transparent building, so you can see a elevator inside it, and that's something we are trying to build it. And it will be difficult right now to build a dial inside every floor or every floor, so we'll be building a common dial outside the component. So there'll be a building component, like there's a building UI will be there, and then there'll be a dialer UI will be there. That's what we are trying to build here. Cool. Okay, so let's get over here, and okay, what we want is to have like two separate components. We can achieve this by either you can use flex here, or you can use a grid here. We'll be using grid here, and okay, maybe it doesn't support dash, so we'll just give elevator container here and change it to camel case. Okay, now give it a margin of top, probably top bottom. Let's get 20 VH and order. Let's get a border of probably 10 pixels solid blue. This is not the blue we want. Let's give a light blue. Let's go light cyan. Okay. The display. So we want our grid. So let's give a display grid and grid template. Template columns. Let's give one. Okay, so I have to see unit variable. Yeah, I didn't prepare for this. And it's okay to do a little bit of googling here there. I mean, we are not running a race here or competing with anyone else. We are competing with ourselves. The whole point of this exercise is to make yourself a bit better every day. Right. I mean, if you keep improving yourself every day, at some point of time, you will be a very better version of you. So if you love yourself, if you are happy with what you're doing currently, or yourself, if you keep improving yourself, you'll be way happier in next couple of days or couple of months. That's the whole point. Okay. Yeah. So We got a line here, but there's nothing, no content, so it's coming to null. If you want to see something, probably we can give a height to see how it looks like, and we can get a height of probably 30 px now. Keep smaller targets. Don't try to think about going to Google at the first day. They are let's call it building.tsx. So if you're returning any JSX component, it's better to call it that JSX component. It denotes that this component is turning a component, a JSX component. You can also the TS is more about the service, not the controller. Why I said service, I don't know, but it denotes more of a controller component. Yeah, you can use for services also. Like you can create a separate service component and name is .ts and all your services that are there, and you can call it from there. I don't think we'll be calling any service in this particular use case, because even in case of an elevator, it's not talking to any third-party APIs, right? Unless it's a very smart elevator, which we are not building right now. We are building a very dumb one. And the dumb one, the whole logic and the whole code sits in the elevator itself. But maybe future episode, we'll be calling different APIs and building something, and we'll be handling those things that day. Maza aane wala hai. I am happy that I am doing the 5th episode today continuously. I really wanted to be consistent on this thing, and hopefully I'll be able to achieve this. Like I'll keep doing this thing in the future. So the first thing, let's do import styles React from React. Okay, so new version of React. So earlier you just do a import React from React. Now it's import styles React, because React is giving you multiple APIs like use state, all the hooks as a part of as a separate import. So we are importing everything. It's exporting from React library and renaming it as a React, capital React, right? And you can do this thing also. You can say like, I think this, and like this. So now we can pick what you want to import from this library, and okay, I think it's not ended here. Yeah, my bad. Okay, so you can pick individual hooks also if you want to import, or you can say import everything as React from React. You won't be importing React from it. What a dumb thing I'm doing. Okay, so another thing what we're doing is we'll be keeping style as part of the same component. So building .tsx will have a style.css. Here we are using CSS. There's other options, or the SSS and all. SAS. If you want it, I can take a session on that also. Like next time we'll be implementing a SAS only. Probably, maybe if I'm consistent in this thing, one day we'll build it from scratch itself. Like we'll be writing our own webpack config, setting up the server, and running everything locally. It'll be fun. Constant building is equal to, we are having okay, so there's no viewers, but still if anybody watches in the future, this represents arrow function. It's kind of immediate IIFE, and now this constant is big. It's like it's a function now, and I can do a directly export default from here, or I can create a method or create a variable, and I can say export default building, and now I can import it by its root path. Okay, so I'm not sure whether anybody have this doubt, but if you are very new to front-end development and you don't know what is different between export default or export. So basically the way you are importing will change. For instance, if you are saying export default, like you can directly do import. You can write anything actually. So you can say building from the path. But if you are doing export, right, which is you saying that I'm exporting this particular variable itself, then you have to import something like this. So you have to say, so basically it will bundle in a object and you'll be exporting in the whole object. I think it's something like module exports an object. So this will be part of module export object. So you cannot access directly like default one. Instead, you have to uh, pick in a object with its key name. So the key name should be the matching key name. If I write a small b or if I write something else, it may say if I write build here, it will fail because the key is not matching. Okay. छोटी छोटी बातें रिवीजन करें हम भी. Okay, and let's. So it's a JSX component. So basically, we're running JSX response from this, and which is basically HTML component. JSX is okay. There's no live views, but I wanted to ask this question: that how many of you are aware of JSX? What is JSX? How does it work? So if you have worked with templating engine before, you probably will easily understand how does a JSX works. It's basically in the same concepts, only the way it's rendered is different. Okay, so we are building a building, and the building will have a whole structure, and that structure will have multiple floors, right? So this will be a structure, and we'll be importing floors, and we'll be importing floor. So we'll be importing floor, and then we'll be building floor one by one, right? That's how we build. We जब building बनाते हैं तो कैसे बनाते हैं? We set up a base. उसके बाद फिर ground level के बाद same type of floors. If you take an example of apartment, we are basically building apartment. You can call this building as an apartment also, and then they'll be having multiple floors, same kind. And that's why I'll be importing a floor from floor component. Okay, so there's no floor. The floor and okay. We have floor here. We'll create an index file. Okay. So we are getting an error here because currently there's no floor component. We can build here and say index.tsx. I love that VS Code extension for generating components. I don't have to write the same shit again and again. I think थोड़ा loud होके बोलना पड़ेगा और थोड़ा slowly. कई लोगों ने बोला कि I speak very fast. The one of reason of doing streaming is, to control this. Foot 2. Now so it's the JSX component, it will be a div, and basically so as part of this okay, so we don't need to keep gates in floor, we can put the gates in elevator itself. So it will be just a block with some height, some width, and some background color, or maybe just a border. So let's give class name. So class name is just a React way of saying class. Since this is a HTML component, but this is not a HTML, this is a JSX component. So it's kind of wrapped on top of normal HTML components, and it does have all the properties which HTML support, but the way it's been the way it as absorb or understand is different. So class will change to class name. Click will change to on click. Uh, I think some of the handlers name also change, like the way, but yeah, but more or less it's same. So if you understand how does an HTML component works, uh, you won't be facing any issues. I think this is very basic 101, but it's good to know. Maybe I can clear my doubt also. Louder. I think streaming 101 is to have a setup like a gaming setup, because probably gaming setup works for any kind of stuff. If you have a gaming phone, it will be a high-end phone. It will long last. Similarly, if you have a gaming system, it will, support a lot of things. I mean, you can do a lot of things with it. I mean, if I have a gaming setup already ready with me, I can do live streaming without any issues, which I'm facing daily basis. But that's cool. uh, एक बार लोग सब्सक्राइब करेंगे तो हम भी ये सब करेंगे. इसके लिए पहले जनता को आना पड़ेगा. Okay, so we have a floor container, and floor container basically contains it will contain elevator, but we'll be handling it separately. It won't come inside a floor. It will come inside a floor, but in the UI it will look like the elevator is going inside a floor, but not in the code. Okay, so we need an index.txt file. So why did we do it? Close declared, never values, never used. Okay. One up and flow. Okay, so the way React works is either you can name the file as it is, like um, I rename my file. I named my file as building.tsx, right? Now when I'm importing this file, while importing, I have to in the path say that building/building.tsx. And suppose you are having multiple components, it makes sense to rename every component as what exactly, depending upon the type or the work of that component. But here, in case my floor component is very small and it is just returning me a small div, right? So what I did is I renamed this index.tsx, and the default value which it will, like the default resolution of the path. So basically I'm giving the path of the file. So I'm saying double dot slash, which means go one folder up, go to the floor folder, and slash means search for. So since I didn't given any name here, there's no name, it will search for index.tsx, and I have made a file name index.tsx. It will pick this and it will return this file, which will be rendered in the UI. Now going back, I will create a new file here called styles.css. Okay, is it oh wow, don't tell me it's you got the marker over. Okay, so let's create a It's simple. You have to just say import dot styles dot css and my be available. All the class names will be available. And how do you name a class name in CSS? Just a dot. And what do you call what did we named it? Floor container. So let's call floor container, and floor container will have a height of maybe not a capital H, 40 pixel, and then we have a width of 40 pixel. Okay, okay, let's give a border also, right? Border one pixel size, and the solid and color maybe light green. कैसा जाएगा light green on top of maybe a light sea green. Yep. Okay, and save building habit, floor, letters, good. Unknown word, clear. Wow. Why is there okay, fine. So I've not imported anything, right? So I have to just import building from okay. Oh, okay. So okay. Oh, okay. So the I didn't check. maybe now कोई बात नहीं. Okay. Basically ये क्या दिक्कत होती है जब आप कोई चीज़ ज़्यादा कर लेते हो तो आप कुछ चीज़ें फिर इग्नोर कर जाते हो. Basically we are not working with TypeScript. We are working just JavaScript. So the TSX actually represent a TypeScript component, and we are creating a Jsx component, but still not able to find it. What the heck? Can't find building slash building, which is here. Okay, so I just need to rename this also, probably. That's good. That's not an issue. So constraint building, export default building. Wow, it's weird. Could not find model in path building. Don't tell me this is the older version of it. Let's try one thing here. Default app building. Okay, so इशू क्या है इसका? ओह, मैं गधा हो गया। अरे यार, तो आधी रात तक कोडिंग करते नीचे आ तो बात दे रहे हैं कहीं और का, कंपोनेंट कोई और एंटर कर ले, कैसे काम चलेगा यार? अरे यार सीरियसली। चलो, एक बात तो अच्छा है कि व्यूअरशिप ना होने कि आप ऐसी गलती करके बच सकते हैं। मिनी क्लिप बन जाती है ऐसे तो। एनीवेज, मूविंग ऑन। अरे यार, कोई देखेगा क्या सोचेगा। फाइन, now we can see we have a building container here, green color, right? Cool. Okay, so this will come as class name is equal to building container, and basically the building container will be again will be creating now. So देखो, दोनों ऑप्शन अपने पास है, तो हम डिस्प्ले फ्लेक्स यूज करें एंड देन विल बी यूजिंग flex direction as column and everything will render one next to each other, or we can just create a display grid and have a single column layout. दोनों में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, लास्ट टाइम ग्रिड यूज़ किया था, इस टाइम भी ग्रिड यूज़ करते हैं. So when I say display grid and I say, then I have to define the grid column layout, like how many columns I want to know their configuration. That is called grid columns template. And now what I can do is I can just give an F1, that means I just want a single grid column template. हाँ, क्या डाला मैंने यहाँ पे? Oh, grid template columns, sorry, template columns, not column templates. Template columns, and we make it 1F1. So that means we will be having just single row, single column, not row. Okay. So now what will happen is कि now we will building multiple floors and they will come like one next to each other. अब हम एक यहाँ पे काम कर सकते हैं. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल एरर्स को उड़ाते हैं, बुरा लग रहा है. सबसे पहले हम क्या करेंगे, ऐप पे जाएंगे, यहाँ पे CSS में और हम हाइट हटा देते हैं, बिकॉज हमारे चाइल्ड की हाइट है, बट वी कैन गिव सम मार्जिन. Sorry, we can give some padding. So I don't know whether you're aware with the box model. So basically every component is assumed. Okay, I won't click right side. My system slow, पता नहीं चलेगा नहीं, चल गया. Very good. डॉक करते हैं इसको हम. Okay. Okay. See, if you can see, I mean, if you are into web development, Chrome DevTools is like the best tool you can start with, like to have. I mean, you can probably debug everything here. Or day by day, it's improving a lot. It's giving you so many things to figure out. You can check your performance of application. You can test your application on different networks. You can understand like how your elements are rendering, a lot more. Hats off to the developers of Chrome DevTools and their manager, Adios Money. So if you see, अगर हम यहाँ पे आते तो हमें यहाँ पे एक rectangular box दिख रहा है, multiple box दिख रहा है, right? Which have a margin, border, padding. and this is our content. So basically, this is our content. Whatever we write in a element which displays up, that is called as content, which sit inside it, right? So when I wrap two divs, basically, so this div, this example is a better one. So this div and this div, between this div, whatever is coming, is the content for that particular div. Fine. And when we see the box model, the content is this, and the padding, then it shows up a padding. Currently, we don't have a padding. Then it shows up a border, and then there's a margin. Okay. So there's a content box model, there's a border box. Okay, so there's a box model is property name, I guess. You can easily check the properties here. Yeah, so box sizing is the property name which using this you can change the way the component is rendered or calculate its height and width. So by default is it's border box, I guess. Yeah. So border boxes means ki when you say height is 30 pixel or 40 pixel, that will that will how it will be calculated is will be from content, like from content to border. If I'll say that my box sizing content box, that 40 pixel height will apply to the content, not to the border. So if suppose I have a height of 40 pixel and I have a border of 2 pixel, so the total height of my box will be, if the box size is content box, will be 44 pixels, because top border will be 2 pixel and bottom border will be 2 pixel. The total will be 44 pixel, 40 of the content box and the 2 pixel top and 2 pixel bottom from the border, right? So yeah, accordingly you can change it. I think default goes to border box. ऐसे कुछ हमने डिफरेंस में सीखा नहीं, बट या इंटरेस्टिंग कॉन्सेप्ट हाउ HTML and CSS works. Now, see, we have multiple flows here, right? And we want to render multiple flows. So what we'll do is basically we'll be creating a function constant map my flows. You'll say, why map my flows? Because now the building will decide how many flows they want to have. Now we have two options here. Either we can pass a property, a props from parent key. The app will tell the building how many floors you want to render, or we can actually make a hard-coded value here. And so these many floors you have to render. Okay. So how you okay? अब मेरे पास viewers तो है नहीं बताने के लिए मैं करूँगा. So I'll assume you want it to be props based. Okay, so I'll try to make a props based. Okay, let me watch myself only. Okay, so props, how it will work is it's simple. We'll be going here index.js and we'll be sorry, app.js, and we are importing already the building property, and we'll say flows is equal to, let's say, 10, right? Now the build, we have passed a number of a property called floor, and its value is 10. Now building.jsx, it can have a value called props here. Okay, so if you have worked with arrow function, right? Maybe I can give a simple example here. I didn't mean to say arrow function. I mean to say the spread operator. System slash. So bear with me. Okay. So how does spread operator work is only if I have a values called 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Let's say x is equal to 8. So I don't know if I say x. No, about this. If I say yeah. So what happened is कि सारी values split हो गई, right? कि by so 0th index को 0x मिल गया, key मिल गई 0 और value मिल गई 10. One index बन गया, first index become the key and the value become 20. Basically it took the array object and it spread it out, right? Now how we can use it more, suppose if I want to create a new array y, uh, there's one way to do it is like triple x, and we can say 60 here, right? So the y will be, I mean, it's something like concat only, right? You can do x dot concat and you pass 60 value, but just only other way to do it to understand how the spread will work. This is the way of spreading. Like you already have an x array, a compact value, you open the bottle and you spread it out. Okay. So now triple dot can work in other way also. We can pass multiple value as an and it can make it compact it down. And that is the concept behind your JSX component props. So basically, if you have a function and you say x function spread and you say props, you don't know how many arguments you're passing, right? So just write it that कि जितने भी arguments आए उनको वही compact कर लो, एक prop नाम की variable पे डाल दो, and इसे console dot log and the values props are props. Okay. Now let's call the spread function and say 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay. Comma missing है, रह जाएगी, इसलिए हम comma डाल देंगे. If you see props are, it already made an array and it have 1, 2, 3 values, whatever we passed as an argument. So how is this helpful when we want to make a function where it can take like a number of arguments and you want to do it predefined? Props are helpful, but again, if you're using TypeScript, you have to define the types of it. But it's hard to that's a point of building TypeScript. You want to make a control function, you don't want to pass any random things, so it invalidates the usage of this. Basically, you have to define the props key and values, like what type of key you're expecting in your props and what will be the type of that key. Yeah, so now we set props, and what is the key we passed from there? Okay, the key we passed from there was flows. So basically, we'll pick the flows here, and now the flows is passed from the root top app. Okay. Okay, so we have flows and okay. Now what we want to do is for number of flows is passed from the building or from the app. We want to make that many flows from the building object. Okay, so one way. Okay. Now when you have x amount of value, right? Like we have the number 10. So isko, there's a multiple ways to build the value out of it. One way is to like loop through the value and push for every value of floor. The other way is to convert the number to an array. Yeah. So again, कोई बताने वाला है नहीं, उसको कैसे दिखना है, तो हम तो सिंपल तरीके से बताएंगे कुछ. और let's go to our x is equal to 0, x is less than floors, x plus plus, लग गया हमारा for loop. यहाँ पे अब डिफाइन कर देंगे constant flows array is equal to empty array. I made a constant. Why did not let? Because it's a constant. So basically, it's not a string or number value. It's an array. So even if we change the content of the array, the reference point will still be same. It doesn't call by value. It call by reference. तो इसके अंदर की वैल्यू चेंज हो जाएगी, बट द रेफरेंस विल बी स्टिल सेम. दैट्स व्हाई इट विल स्टिल बी अ कांस्टेंट. सिमिलर इज ऑब्जेक्ट इज आल्सो कॉल बाय रेफरेंस. अगर मैं ऑब्जेक्ट भी यहाँ बनाता हूँ उसको, आई कैन मेक इट कांस्टेंट. आई डोंट नीड टू मेक इट लेट, बिकॉज उसका रेफरेंस पॉइंट हमेशा सेम रहेगा. मेमोरी पॉइंट उसका या मेमोरी रेफरेंस पॉइंट विल बी ऑलवेज सेम. वैल्यू में चेंजेस लाइक द कंटेंट में चेंज. अगर इसकी अगर सपोज एक बूलियन वैल्यू होती है या स्ट्रिंग वैल्यू होती है, उसको लुक तो चेंज होता है, देन मैं उसको वेर या लेट बनाता हूँ. लेट ही बनाता हूँ, वेर क्यों बनाता हूँ मैं. बट वेर में मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि वेर में फेल हुआ था, ऑब्वियसली ब्लॉक लेवल इज फर्दर बेटर देन फंक्शनल लेवल स्कोप, राइट? कोई ओके, बताने वाले नहीं हो। तो हम क्या करेंगे, फ्लोर से में हम पुश करेंगे, खुश रहो पुश रहो। क्या पुश करेंगे? पुश करेंगे फ्लोर, और उसमें हम डाल देंगे एक वैल्यू कॉल्ड की वैल्यू करेगी एक्स। डू वी नीड एनीथिंग एल्स? वी नीड ऑन क्लिक हैंडलर, थोड़ा उस पर भी करेंगे ना। लेट्स नॉट की लेट आई इज इक्वल टू 0, आई इज लेस। देखो कॉलेज का एजुकेशन में नहीं बोलना चाहिए, जब हर जगह आई पढ़ा तो आई यूज़ करेंगे ना। हम कौन होते हैं कुछ और यूज़ करने वाले? इसकी हो जाएगी आई। ठीक है, फ्लोज अरे बन गया। अब क्या करेंगे, देखो हमारा फॉर लूप चल गया, हमारे फ्लोज आ गए। नाउ व्हाट विल जस्ट रिटर्न फ्लोज एरर, और यहाँ पे आएंगे हम मैप माई फ्लोज, इसको हटाएंगे, डेटा इसको एग्जीक्यूट कर देंगे। नाउ व्हाट दिस डज इट, दिस इज बेसिकली, मैं जैसे स्टार्टिंग में कहा था कि इफ़ यू हैव वर्क विद एनी टेम्पलेटिंग इंजन, एनी HTML टेम्पलेटिंग इंजन, you might know how does it work. Similarly, if I want to execute some JavaScript code, I run it inside a curly braces. That's it. And if you see in the right side of your screen, like I think मैंने save press कर दिया था, हो चुका था। We got 10 blocks. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. Wow, cool. So नहीं, हम एक और काम यहाँ कर सकते थे कि यहाँ हमें मेक इट 1 एंड लेस देन इक्वल टू कर देते हैं, एंड स्टिल वी गेट 10, बट हमारी की विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम 1 नाउ, which is probably what we want to do. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. Okay, बट अभी इसमें एक प्रॉब्लम ये है कि ये चिपका हुआ है हमारे पेरेंट कंपोनेंट से, और हम चाहते हैं थोड़ा राइट में शिफ्ट हो जाए, तो हम उसको शिफ्ट करेंगे। उसके लिए हम यहाँ पे जाएंगे, जो हमने आधी अधूरी चीज़ छोड़ी थी अपने, उसको हम पूरा करेंगे। ये चीज़ बहुत होती है, मैं डिस्ट्रैक्ट बहुत जल्दी होता हूँ, मतलब कहीं से कहीं हो जाता हूँ। पैडिंग को हमने ख़त्म नहीं किया था, बॉक्स मॉडल में घुस गए। तो बॉक्स मॉडल में नहीं बॉक्स मॉडल नहीं, क्यों पैडिंग में आ गए, पैडिंग में आके हमने यहाँ पर पैडिंग दी 40 पिक्सल। नाउ देयर इज अ पैडिंग बिटवीन द कंपोनेंट एंड इट्स इन द स्पेस नाउ, बढ़िया लग रहा है। तो एक चीज़ तो हमारी बन गई है, हमारे पास बिल्डिंग्स आ गई हैं। अब हमें बिल्ड करने, हाँ हम बिल्ड करेंगे डायल, और एलिवेटर करेंगे लास्ट में बिल्ड। रीज़न बीइंग क्योंकि डायल इसके बगल में आएगा, इसका साथी है, तो पहले साथियों को ले आते हैं, उसके बाद बच्चों को पैदा करेंगे। तो डायल पे आते हैं हम, डायल और DSX को हटा के हम कर देंगे JSX। सेम कॉन्सेप्ट जो मैंने TSX और TS की बताई थी, इट्स सेम फंडा अप्लाइज टू JSX एंड JS। बस ये समझ लो कि JSX is or TSX is a TypeScript version of JSX। समझ क्या लो है। यहाँ पे भी एक स्टाइल डॉट CSS डाल ही देते हैं, क्या करेगा क्या रहेगा। Okay, I don't think we need a JSX import here. So import CSS dot slash styles dot CSS. So dot slash represent your current directory, double dot slash represent one directory above, and if you want to go to a directory, then double dot slash similarly। नीचे हम क्या करेंगे, बट सिंगल डॉट नहीं, सिंगल डॉट मतलब current directory, you can directly give the folder name like we did here, single dot components building। ना एक बुद्धिमान के काम हम यहाँ कर सकते जो हमने किया नहीं है, इसको हमने index.jsx देते और फिर मेरा काम बिगड़ नहीं। चलो ओके, कितना इंपोर्ट करेंगे यार, सिंपल हो ना, इंडेक्स डॉट जेएसएक्स कांस्टेंट डायल इज इक्वल टू, और डायल में क्या क्या बटन्स होते हैं, 10 फ्लोर है तो 0 to 10 फ्लोर होगा, और एग्जिट ओपन एंड क्लोज बटन, राइट। तो अभी हम इतने रखेंगे, तो टोटल वी हैव 12 बटन्स, 12 रखते हैं, बहुत अच्छा यूआई बने हुए देखने में अच्छा लगा। 13 में फिर एक अलग से आ जाएगा, तो 12 ही रखते हैं काउंट। ओके ओके, so we want a circular design, right? Kind of circular circle. So basically, we'll be building a dial, which will be the dial inside a dialer. So dialer will be the parent component which you need to build. So पहले dial build करते हैं. It will be a div, which will be a div. That will be a div. Will be class name. अभी मैं रेड देख रहे हो, रेड क्यों तो नहीं आ रहा, ठीक है यहाँ पे, क्योंकि मैंने रिटर्न देना भूल गया। इफ नॉट रिटर्निंग कैसे काम करेगा, और यहाँ पे करते हैं एक्सपोर्ट डिफॉल्ट, क्लास नेम में कैपिटल एन होता है, कैमल केस, एंड टाइटल देना द डायल, इसके देते हैं हाइट 30 पिक्सल, मे बी width of 30 pixel, and this course, this session which we will doing every Wednesday is not about just coding. We will be also learning, so probably someday we'll be watching some videos and implementing it side by side in the real time. बहुत चीज़ें करने को, मतलब just comment down your idea what you want, like what sound more interesting to you. So हाइट विड्थ हमने दे दी, और हाइट विड्थ से डिफाइन कर दिया कि हमारे बॉक्स का साइज, मतलब कंपोनेंट का साइज कितना होगा, बट वी वांट अ सर्कुलर है, इट लुक्स कूल, राइट। सो उसके लिए हमारे पास आती है एक प्रॉपर्टी कॉल्ड बॉर्डर रेडियस। इफ आई गिव अ बॉर्डर रेडियस ऑफ 50%, नाउ द स्क्वायर विल बिकम सर्कल। कैसे, इतना तो पढ़ के हो ये, अच्छा जो बताना वो बोल दो पढ़ के हो, नेक्स्ट टाइम आप खुद ही समझ के आ जाओ। Very good question. How does it work? When I'm not sure how does it exactly works. So basically, I mean, by default, you are works as a circle, a rectangular box, and when you're circular and you're 50%, so it start curving out your box. अगर तुम्हारी जो बॉर्डर है वो बैंड होने लगती है अकॉर्डिंग टू द वैल्यू ऑफ परसेंटेज ऑफ द वैल्यू पास इन द रेडियस. So 50% is actually more accurate towards like say x to y. The 50% is like more accurate for a radius, and you'll get a 30 diameter circle, which is 15 pixel of radius. So that's why you're giving the half of it. I need to learn more towards SVG. SVG is a very interesting topic. We will try to build some real world characters in SVG someday. You know, it's a high quality vector images which scalable in many devices. Though it's little heavy, but it's cool thing to learn. There's a little bit of mathematics involved, and we'll do it. Slowly. Okay, so we don't need to put a content here. So by default, for the every element, the height goes to inherit or auto, I think. And if it's auto, then the value, the how the height and width is calculated for component is depending on the content it has. But हमारे पास तो कोई content नहीं है ना ही यहाँ पे कोई content था, but still showing up, right? So तब height और width property काम आती है. So if you have defined that I have a height of this value and that value, then कंपाइलर को मानना पड़ेगा, रेंडर को मानना पड़ेगा कि भाई हाइट है और उतनी देनी पड़ेगी. बट अगर तुमने डिफाइन नहीं किया तब वो कैलकुलेट करता है कि चाइल्ड कितना, पेरेंट कितना, तब इतना होना. आई थिंक इफ यू प्रोवाइड अ डिफॉल्ट हाइट, लाइक इफ यू डिफाइन हाइट एंड विड्थ, इट विल बी इजी टू फॉर कैलकुलेशन and your application will perform better. at least in case of images. That's why in case of images, it's a good practice to define a height and width prior to the render. Good to go. Cool. तो क्या हो गया? डायल बन गया हमारा. डायल बन गया और डायल क्या हो गया? I need a dialer. I'm a dialer provider. Okay, I'm a dialer. Okay, dialer boss. क्या है आपके पास? आपके पास भी एक इंडेक्स फाइल होगी. सबके पास इंडेक्स फाइल है. You get index file. You get index file. Everyone get index file and a CSS file. क्या है? स्लो भी लग रही है. एक गलत क्लिक और कहीं और पहुंच जाते हैं. यहाँ फाइल है उसके जस्ट नेक्स्ट टू द नेम. भाई गलती से क्लिक हो गया तो रीनेम हो जाएगा. Comment on how long you're coding. I mean, if you're coding from say 2008, 2010 or 2012. मतलब कितना चीज़ें change हो गई, right? Now you have so many extension in web itself available, which will tell you what kind of file you have. Import a dialer. What it will do basically, it will having how we're going to define is we'll have 3 columns, and every column will have a dial. Why 3 columns? It will look better. 4 थोड़ा सा uneven लगता है. 3 में ज़्यादा better लगता है यार. I think last time, मतलब I don't know about other people, but when I see elevators and their buttons, like if they are in the columns numbers are more, right? बहुत ही weird लगता है. If that columns are like 3 or max 4, like 3 सबसे सही लगता है. Even the height is high, like the rows are more. देखने में अच्छा लगता है, but if it's like horizontally spread out, बहुत ही weird लगता है. Maybe that's an individual choice. And I'm not a designer to comment on this. Like, I can comment on this, but I'm not doing. There's nothing wrong in commenting, right? Question करेगा. Question करेगा. Story properties. Cancel the link. Alright, alright, alright. Cool, cool. So I have a dialog component also ready here. And Tyler is a simple component. There's nothing much we are doing here. It's just a parent wrapper container which will have a class name, and what we'll do in class name is just defining a create property to make 3 columns. So it will be Tyler. So probably it's already 12:15 and we started a little late today. What we can do is we can break this into 2 parts. Today we'll be just building a UI, and all the controller part will keep for the next Wednesday. Next Wednesday or कभी पहले टाइम ना तो पहले ही कर लेंगे यार. इसमें तो मज़ा आता है. ओके, क्या करने वाला था मैं? बताओ. डिस्प्ले ग्रेड कैट करेगा. ये टेम्पलेट्स भी तो ऐड करना पड़ेगा. Not so whenever 3 rows, 3 columns. See, एक है इसकी कीमत. Now okay, so okay, now we can render dials here itself in the dialer. Your dial component was already high, or so how I can start it? Basically, generally if you see, ये basically इतना ज़्यादा क्यों बोलता हूँ यार? बेसिकली हर जगह लगाना जरूरत नहीं है। ठीक है, धीरे धीरे ये चीज़ें सुधरेंगी, यही तो मोटिव है सब करने का। तो 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0। ओ ओ ओ ओ ओ क्या हुआ? तो बेसिकली यहाँ बस 10 फ्लोर्स है फ्रॉम ग्राउंड, टॉप विल गो टिल 9। तो मुझे यहाँ पे एक चेंज करना पड़ेगा। कहाँ पे? बिल्डिंग में। आई को हम ज़ीरो रहने देते हैं। क्यों? क्योंकि हम फिर उसको यूज़ करेंगे जी को, आई को, और एज अ वैल्यू, एंड वी कैन जस्ट प्रिंट इट आउट। कौन कैलकुलेशन करेगा रे? ओके, सो आई फ्लोर्स, फ्लोर बन गया, एंड डायलर हो गया, एंड डायलर विल गोस। Okay, so we have to put a logic when the zeroth floor will come. Till 1, it's all good. 987, 654, 321. Now, just before 0, we want to keep in middle. If you see that 0 is generally middle, and left side will be a close or open, or right side will be open and close. Like one of those buttons, right? बीच में 0 होगा, लेफ्ट में राइट होगा, क्लोज होगा तो ओपन होगा, राइट में तो उसका अपोजिट जो भी बचेगा। तो हमें पे यहाँ पे ये लॉजिक रखना है कि जब तक प्री और पोस्ट ऐड करना पड़ेगा, राइट? सो बेसिकली हम एक लूप लिख सकते हैं। ओके, आई मीन वी डोंट नीड अ फंक्शन रियली फॉर दैट। जैसे हमने यहाँ पे एक फंक्शन ऐड किया था बिल्डिंग में कि मैप माई फ्लोर्स करके, वो जरूरत है नहीं हमें जरूरत। बट सिंस इज अ प्रॉप्स, इट्स बेटर टू कीप इन द फ्लोर, मैप माई फ्लोर्स हमेशा कॉल नहीं होगा। वी विल बी यूजिंग मेमोरेशन ऑल्सो इन द रिएक्ट। तो जो यूज कॉल बैक वगैरह हुक्स है वो आज हम डायरेक्टली इम्पोर्ट करेंगे। दिस इज एक्चुअली नॉट रिक्वायर्ड, वी आर नॉट इम्पोर्टिंग एनीथिंग। ओके, clean up. Okay, but dialer, it's fixed, right? We don't know it's in starting ki 10 floor rahenge. We're not even getting the value. Now we can make it little more attached to other components, and we can also pass the number of floors for dialer also, since it's an app.js. But for now, we won't do it. अगर प्रॉब्लम तो आप कमेंट करो, कर देंगे, वो भी कर देंगे। So basically, we'll be define a constant called flows or buttons here, because they're buttons, right? And it will be empty. We'll just do a for loop. Next time we'll do with TypeScript also. I'm clear with the basics of TypeScript. मुझे थोड़ा advanced level पे करना है, and probably we can try all those concepts here. So basically, फिर basically बोला मैं basically बोलूँगा। Okay. ये 10 के buttons हो गया, buttons. Dot push, need a dial here. Import. What are we going to import? We're going to import a dial, which will act as a button. What else? Huh? Oh yes, double slash dial. Since it's an index, जो हमने change किया था, we don't write it up. So probably you didn't notice it. Maybe you can do a stream back and check. Sometimes when I save it, the whole thing will change accordingly. This is due to Prettyfire extension. So Prettyfire is it's a VS Code as well as like a system extension. You can need that you can format your code. You can define rules to format your code, and it will do it for you. And then you can define the actions like on save, on exit, and different kind of action when you want to perform that kind of formatting. Formatting is good when you're working for like a Well, a code base where multiple people are working, for example, enterprise or in a startup. So then the code looks similar. It's easy to debug, it's easy to understand. Good invention. Okay, so we have a dial. हमें dial में क्या push करना है basically? Symbol, value. So basically value. And this value will use to show the content. और the value will be I. यहाँ पे लेकिन एक twist है. अभी हम देखेंगे क्या. Index.jsx props है दिया. I can do a props. I can actually say hi, and I can say hi. ठीक है. So ये pick करना हुआ मैंने. वहाँ मैंने इस प्रोडक्ट में कंबाइन करके भेज रहा था वैल्यू, एंड यहाँ से मैंने इसको निकाल लिया because I know the key. Okay, moving on. Now this will work fine till 1, but in case of 0, we want to insert a pre and post value. So if I basically if I do a not I, then also it will work because 0 will be a not value. But let's do a triple equal to I. We'll matching a value and type 0. Else the other actually we should do not on this way. We should do this way. If it's not equal to 0, then go here. Else condition, come here. Reason being that if we do a double triple check, it will do make it every time that if block, and then it will go to else block. But here till 9 value, it will satisfy in the if block itself, and then have to check the else value every time. The else will be checked on in the last value. Oh, कुछ दिक्कत दिख रही है आपको? नहीं दिख रही है? दिखाता हूँ. हमें रिवर्स वैल्यू दिखानी, राइट? नहीं, रिवर्स में नहीं आया, नीचे से ऊपर जाना, बट यहाँ ऊपर से चला. हाँ ठीक है. नहीं होगा. तो पहला देखते हैं. So if it's equal to 0, तो पहले एक वैल्यू जाएगी which will be having a value called open, and this level I will call close, and this all are good. This is good. Now we'll just go to app.js and it have a building. Now building have okay. So next to building we want our dialer, and we'll just import dialer. Same mistake. So obviously the component it's inside the component and क्या करना, कुछ नहीं करना, सैंड डालना है. Now should render. So elevator container में जाके check करते हैं कि it have all the right values. Okay, so it have two columns. It have padding. App.js we're writing a building, and dialer in the dialer returning. तो देखो ये गलती नहीं होनी चाहिए, ठीक है? मैंने बना तो दिया है बट उसको भेज नहीं रहा हूँ. So now it should come. क्यों कर रहे हो मेरे साथ ऐसा? So I is equal to 9. यहाँ 0 होना था यार. Okay, that's no issue. You know what? Then so key is a value using which it determines whether it will be changing or not unique type of element. So you can have multiple child elements, and if I have a same key for maybe you're like generating key on the basis of some props probably, and if it's coming same value for different components, and then it will run only one component, or it will throw up one error also. It's basically it's a simpler way to say ki, you are trying to render same component again and again. So it's better to check pass a unique key for every children component or similar component. You know what I want to do one day is like open the whole React code and read it and try to understand what is happening around here. It will be fun. क्या हो गया इसका? Error in sandbox. Wow. नई चीज़ें फाड़ी हमने. Next level coding. अभी तो रंडा हो जाओ. अब क्या प्रॉब्लम है इसका बॉस? So buttons आई, buttons values गई, buttons ने अटेंड किया. It's importing a dial and dial में dial. That's cool. Okay. Okay. मत डालो. थोड़ा सा. Oh, okay, okay. Maybe that's the reason. एक बार try करते हैं. Other 1 pixel solid yellow. Yep, yep, yep. That's the issue. That's the issue. So see now we have all our data next to us, and we say color and we say white. Okay, 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 okay. Come on, it should come in white. So basically, color represent the value color, and the class name is tile, and the value is and we're giving a color white, so it should come as white. हम फिर इंस्पेक्ट के डिबग करेंगे. Okay. Cool. So value pass हो नहीं रही है. Item तो आ रहा है. Oh, let's go in dialer. Oh. Okay. Sorry. Whoa. So we have everything over there. Now numbers value is not aligned, and we will align it. कुछ हम आधे में नहीं छोड़ेंगे. उससे मगर पहले, if you have watched the mask in Hindi in ZTV earlier, so before doing anything, he was like, "Magar pehle." Okay, so it's simple. We'll just do a display flex. Justify flex action. We'll give a row and not just flat here. That's a display, and we'll say justify content. So basically, if it's a center and value 9 items. Cool. See, everything is aligned centrally. Whoa, it's looking so good. बट अभी इसमें कुछ चेंजेस करने हैं। देखिए अभी क्या है कि जो मैं सोच रहा था वो हो गया है। इसको हम चेंज करेंगे थोड़ा सा। व्हाट विल डू इज विल गो फ्रॉम 10 and be less than equal to 0. We want to run print actually it's 9. Now if not equal to 0, okay, okay, and let's see. Nope, 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 nope. Okay, should work. So is equal to 9, is less equal to 0, and I minus. 5 is not equal to 0, turn into the value. Okay, that seems correct to me. What happened? Weird. So Tyler doesn't have any child component because hmm. थोड़ा लॉगिंग कर. Okay. Okay, so it's not even coming here. क्या कर रहा है? It's greater than equal to 0 ना. कैसे कर रहा है? समझ में गलाओ यार सीरियसली. इमेजिन वो देखेगा तो बोलेगा कि क्या इस बंदे को पैसे दे रहा निकालो बाहर. इसलिए हम ये यूट्यूब चैनल में से कभी शेयर ही नहीं करेंगे. जब पता नहीं चलेगा तो आदमी देखेगा कहाँ से. Wow, so we have our elevator ready. Not elevator ready. We have a building ready, and now we have our dialer ready. एक चीज़ और डाल देते हैं before going. We will be adding a hover. And hovering, what we gonna do is simple. हम कलर चेंज करेंगे. So बैकग्राउंड कलर हम कर देंगे येलो. येलो में ये वाइट तो दिखेगा ही राइट. नहीं दिखेगा. बहुत कम दिखेगा. तो हम कलर भी चेंज करेंगे. कलर चेंज कर देंगे ब्लैक. Now when I go here, whoa, okay, whoa, 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 whoa. Fine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep the sandbox here, and it's already 12:30. As we started an hour late. I thought I'll stream till 12 o'clock. I'll start at 10 o'clock, and I think मैं 10 बजे चालू कर पाता तो काफ़ी टाइम रहता कुछ और चीज़ करने का. बट हम इसे पूरा कंप्लीट करेंगे इन द नेक्स्ट सेशन. सो क्या शेयर शेयर इट एज मच पॉसिबल. थोड़े लोग आएंगे, पब्लिक आएगी तो और करने में ज़्यादा मजा आएगा. थोड़े इनपुट्स मिलेंगे. विल ट्राइंग न्यू थिंग्स. Okay guys, see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We'll be doing a streaming on something else. Something really interesting. Actually, Thursday is going to be really interesting for everyone. क्योंकि ये Wednesday topics will be very streamlined or will be for few people or a particular set of people. But Thursday will be for everyone. Even for Friday. Friday will also be like concentrated for a small number of people. But it's time to say good night because I have to get up early in the morning. काम भी पड़ेगा.